Hi everyone, this is Cody Oakes with Group 6, and this is our open source software firewalls presentation. We're going to start out by going over just a brief introduction on software firewalls. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the firewall that we chose, how to download, install the software. And those slides were prepared by Scott. Then we're going to go over how to configure ports security with inside the software that we chose, and those slides were prepared by myself. Then Rachel prepared some slides on port security, and Ben went over some of the extra features in the software that we chose. So we're going to go ahead and jump on into the presentation and go over some of those items. So personal software firewalls are a great way to protect your computer from potentially harmful software and hackers by locking down the network ports and preventing improper access to your system. While there are many different firewall programs to choose from, both free and purchasable, we're going to go over a program called Zone Alarm in this presentation, and it has both a free and a paid-for option. So first, we're just going to go over the installation. So to begin, you're going to simply visit the Zone Alarm website by going to www.zonealarm.com. And the homepage will look something similar to the screenshot on the screen. Then if you click on the free firewall, you can actually get a download to their free version of Zone Alarm. And if you click on free download there, it'll start that download for you. After it's downloaded, you'll want to find the installer and go ahead and run the executable file for the software. It'll show a splash screen that's similar to the picture on the left, and then you'll go through an installation wizard which will install the software for you. After the installation is complete, you should have a Zone Alarm icon on your desktop that looks similar to the one depicted. And if you double click, it'll launch the program, and you should be able to configure the program from that menu. So now we'll go over some of those configuration steps. When you start Zone Alarm, you'll be taken to a home screen that's similar to this one. And if you click on the View Details under the Firewall box, you'll be taken to a Firewall tab that looks like the one on the left, the picture on the left. And from the Firewall tab, you can view the firewall settings by clicking on View Zones. Inside this menu, you can choose to add hosts and sites, IP addresses, IP ranges, and subnet rules through the Add drop-down menu. This will also allow you to either put those selected IP addresses or IP ranges into either a trusted zone, which will allow traffic to go through, or a blocked zone to stop the traffic. And although the free version of Zone Alarm doesn't allow you to add specific ports to the trusted or blocked zones, the paid version will. There's also a little bit of a workaround that you can do if you're not quite ready to jump into the paid version. And if you go back out to the Firewall tab, as you can see in the screen on the left-hand side, they do have a little link that says Access Attempts Blocked. And if you click on that, it has a log viewer, and you can actually add those logged attempts to the access zone, or to the zone that will allow traffic to move through it, just by adding it and going through that wizard. And that'll actually add the ports as well as the IP addresses. Now we're going to go over a little bit of port security that Rachel dug up for us. This first slide just talks a little bit about some different types of traffic, DNS outgoing, DHCP, ICMP, IGMP, and the NetBIOS. And it talks about those different levels of security. If you want a high security level, you're going to block a lot more of those ports and those traffic types. If you're in the middle, there's some that you should allow and some that you shouldn't allow. And if your firewall is completely off, then all of these are allowed, it's really insecure. If we go to the next slide, it talks about some of the commonly hacked ports. And so whenever you're running tests for your firewall, you're going to want to make sure that these ports are secured and that they're only open for the traffic that you want them to be open for. Some of those ports include port 21, which is the FTP port 22, which is SSH, port 23, which is Telnet, port 25, which is SMTP, the TCP port and UDP port of 53, which is the DNS, port 443, which is HTTP and HTTPS, port 110, which is POP3, TCP and UDP port 135, which is Windows RPC, TCP and UDP ports 137 through 139, which is the Windows NetBIOS over TCP IP, and TCP port 1433 and UDP port 1434, which is Microsoft SQL Server. Now we're going to go over just a couple of extra features that Ben came up for us, which is included in Zone Alarm. So DefenseNet, which provides real-time updates, so you don't have to wait for the program to update on a schedule. This will keep all of your definitions current and up to date with the latest threats. It also provides a quick response to breaking threats as they're in the system so that nothing gets missed. And we also have automatic wireless network security. And this is a pretty neat feature. It detects wireless networks and applies the settings automatically. So this will keep you secure while you're traveling. It allows protection on both public networks and private networks, and allows you to keep those settings separately, which will keep your security consistent no matter where you're at, even on your mobile platforms. It also allows you to control the security no matter what connection you use. So that's a little bit about Zone Alarm from Group 6. Thanks, and we appreciate your time.